And we will continue our media availabilities with our race-winning driver, Joey Logano, driver of the number 22 Shell Pennzoil Ford for Team Penske. Joey, you seem to have a knack for new venues. Is there a strategy behind it? Is it lots of studying? Is it getting a feel once you go out there? Can you talk to us a little bit about all these new venues and your success?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of a lot of things. For one, I think our team does a good job at adapting quickly. This weekend's probably a little different because we just unloaded pretty good. All three, even the 21, all of us unloaded with pretty good speed in the cars. And for whatever reason, we hit it. For not having much data and, how to set up the car for this racetrack, it was pretty close. And so there's that, but I think there's also the how quick you got to adapt at these racetracks when you go there for the first time, as far as how you call the race, how you restart, how you pass cars, those things. We don't know what those are going to be until the race starts. What lines we're going to run. I was surprised to see how high we got in both ends. It's a line, and that kind of changes the way your car drives. And, so I think in general, just you got to be open-minded and do things quickly, learn quickly. I think that's what it's about right now.
Awesome. We'll go ahead and open it up for questions. We'll start with Lee and then come over here to Jeff.
I know this is kind of silly, but of all the fabulous Italian restaurants in this town, you went to Spaghetti Factory?
Well, I Googled Italian restaurants, and I don't know. My maps only came up with that one. So that was it. I don't know what to tell you. I wasn't, yeah, I know. I felt the same way.
Kyle Busch, I mean, if you're going to line up with anybody to try to get a win, first beat Kyle Busch, to have the two of you go mano-a-mano, in overtime for a win, and to pull that off, I mean, that's got to be a huge boost for this team and for yourself.
Oh, absolutely. Kyle and I have raced each other for a long time now, and I even think back to when we raced Xfinity cars, and before I moved up the Cup, right, we were racing each other for wins a lot earlier in my career, and and to still do that today, it's pretty cool, right? Kyle's one of the best in the sport, and I knew it was going to be a slugfest right there to the end, and to be able to have Blaney behind me, he gave me the push. That was what I needed, to be able to have position down in the one. He knew the slide job was coming. He knows me pretty well, and he crossed me back, and then I kind of figured it was coming back at me after, if I'm willing to do it, he's going to be willing to do it, and so I just kind of saw it coming and crossed him back, and was able to clear him by 2-3 car lengths off of 4 to take the white flag, and that was kind of the deciding factor. If we came off that corner side by side still, I don't know what the finish would have looked like, but once I was able to clear him 2-3 car lengths, I felt like, okay, just normal lap here, and I'll be all right.
We'll go to Jack over here, and then Matt to the right, and then Bob.
How much of, in overtime, how much of that is going through your head? Is it all about tendencies of another driver? If it was somebody else, not Kyle, do you think they would not throw sliders and crossovers? How much do you have to take into account that it's him that you're racing against?
Yeah, I mean, we all have notebooks on each other, mental notebooks, of knowing the way each other races and what's probably coming our way. And you try to think about all this stuff, but you don't really know what the play is going to be until you get there sometimes, right? You think of all the different things, and you just have to do one thing at a time. Whereas, okay, restart, execute the restart, and get into turn one with an advantage. And we were able to do that. Then it's like, okay, what's the next play here? Well, it's making sure you get to the top side. You make sure you clear them. And then, after that, it's kind of, you just go back to racing at that point. And, Coleman did a great job at clearing me when it mattered the most, but also, giving me the information I needed to know to cross him back in 3 and 4, right? If the 12 was too close to me down the backstretch, I wouldn't be able to execute the crossover back, right? If the 12 stuck his nose in there, I couldn't pull all the way back down, and I wouldn't be able to cross him back. So having that information of knowing when to, what move to make in 3 and 4, right? Do I stay on his door and try to get him on the outside, or is it best off for me to cross him here? And so, knowing that I had 3 car lengths or so down the backstretch, that was enough room to back up the corner and turn it down.
How did you guys have enough momentum to do that without whoever just had a little bit of clean air driving?
What do you mean? How did we have enough momentum?
Like when you are able to throw the sliders and crossovers, you still had enough momentum to pull that off.
It's because clean air means so much. Clean air is everything in our sport right now. It meant so much. There's times when there's two wide in front of you, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get a twofer here. I'm gonna get both of them, and you don't. You stay behind them. So clean air just means so much. Even when you're offline and cars are checking up and crossing each other, all this stuff, clean air means so much.
Matt Weaver, Racing America. Maybe it's kind of a similar question, but when the last 3 restarts, you and Coleman were kind of going back and forth trying to figure out, well, if I do this, if I go there, who do I have behind you? What all are the factors that go into what you want to do, either as the control car or even as the second place car?
There's a lot of questions to ask, right? One being, who you lining up against, right? I knew I was going to be against the 18. He got the lead on the bottom on a restart earlier. So I felt like, okay, he's pretty strong on the bottom of the racetrack. Now we were on older tires, so you can almost argue the top would be better. Kind of thought at the end of the race, I knew, hey, I'm willing to pull a slide job to get the lead. So I felt like the most comfortable spot for me was on the bottom. And then we restarted, and he was on the top and took the lead back. And I was like, oh, jeez. Coleman said to take the top. That was his suggestion, and I wanted to stick with my gut, and I was wrong. I shouldn't have listened to myself. But and then the final restart, hey, we were at the bottom and we took the lead back. So I guess you can argue either side. With this next gen car, it just seems like these restarts are more 50-50 on the front row than ever before. I'd say at the old car, it's almost 100% you take the top. But now it's a little bit more 50-50 for sure.
And then you mentioned the clean air, especially right now on short tracks or flatter tracks. Do you have any sort of input for NASCAR, whether it's the rear diffuser or spoiler, or maybe a little bit more power or whatever? Do you have an idea?
I just kind of, I don't know. You're never going to get rid of dirty air in racing, period. You look at any form of motorsports, it's there. You can look at sprint car racing, you can look at IndyCar, you can look at F1, NASCAR, you name it. We're going fast, and aerodynamics makes speed. We can't unlearn the things we know, right, as a race team. We can't unlearn these things. So you're always going to have dirty air. Can't fix it. But the way it all is, like, this year is a lot different, where the wake used to go to the right a lot because the cars had a lot of yaw in the cars. And so they were, the wake, you kind of think about a boat, right? And it's kind of how the wake works. And it would act like the wake would go way to the right. And so we could never move to the right side of a car to pass them. But on the flip side, the left side was pretty clean. So if you can get your left front headlight out, it was almost like clean air. So now with the cars are straight and it's symmetrical on both sides. So if you can get to the right side of someone, it's as good as getting to the left side of somebody. But it's more concentrated behind a car. So if you're directly behind the car, it is more intense than it's ever been. But it's better on either side of the car, left or right. So it is what it is. I don't know how you fix that, right? I mean, you're punching a hole in the air. I don't know how you don't, right? I mean, you have a smaller car. I don't know, but you look at other forms of racing that have smaller cars, they fight the same things. So I don't know if there's really a clean, true answer to fix it. I think you can make adjustments and probably make it better, right? We've seen in the past that smaller spoilers make it better, right? We've seen that. We already got a fairly small spoiler on the car already. So I don't know how you adjust to fix it at this point. Thank you. Yep.
Bob Hockers, Fox Sports. You won Bristol Dirt. You won the Coliseum. You win here. What is it with you and first-time Cup races at tracks?
Beats me. I don't know. Like I said earlier, I think it's just kind of being able to adapt quickly as a race team. I don't think it's just me. I think all of us as a race team, we were able to, call the right strategies, adapt to restarts quickly, understand what lanes are going to move, where the track's going, how to adjust on the car. All those things are new, and I don't know. I enjoyed the challenge. It's fun, but honestly, this weekend we were just fast, and we unloaded fast. Like I said, for not having much data, we unloaded quick and just car went fast this week.
Tucker White, Last Word on Sports. Joey, MRN mentioned, I think maybe about halfway through the race, that you and Ross Chastain had gotten into each other. If that's true, what exactly happened there?
No, he got in the back of me into 3 when we were 3 wide, but I think he just drove in the corner a little hard. I don't think it was anything intentional. We were racing really hard, and I checked up because I was 3 wide on the bottom, and I think he just overdrove the corner and got in the back of me. No harm, no foul.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. A couple questions. Joey, as asking Paul this earlier, but 2 wins in the last 4 races for you guys. You've had some top 10s back to back, but you've also had some races where you guys have been off or struggled, and even had a race like Dover where you're way off. After 15 races, do you know how good you guys are? Do you know where you guys are in relation to anybody at this point?
I mean, it's a roller coaster ride. That's for sure. I mean, we're up and down. Charlotte last week, we were in position to win the race, right? I mean, we took 2 tires, maybe 4 tires, maybe we win the race. I don't know, right? We end up wrecking there. So you're in position. I think that's the biggest thing we've seen here is that, fast cars, yes, win races, and it's nice to have a fast car, but it seems like there's so many different things going on, and if you can just get yourself to the front, you have a chance. No matter how fast your car is or not fast your car is, you have a chance if you're in the front. You just got to figure out a way to get there, and it's different for each track and how you do that. But yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone has it figured out yet. And there's tracks that, like I said, we're pretty good at. I think the tracks where you come out of the gas pedal, the cars are pretty good. Some of the tracks that you're in the throttle all the way around doesn't seem to be our wheelhouse right now. But it goes back and forth. I don't know. I mean, you say that, but then you look at, the 12 was pretty decent last weekend. The 2 was as well. So it's just a razor's edge, like where you're good or not. Like it just goes back and forth quickly.
Also, I know winning's always special, but to do it on a day when essentially your teammate won, Will Power over on the IndyCar side, other than making the boss man happy, what does it mean to have a Sunday sweep?
That was news to me, so that's fantastic. I did not know that, so that's cool that they went on the IndyCar side as well. So, yeah, I mean, I think that a lot of real special things this weekend. Obviously for Team Penske winning a couple, but I think what you look at, for St. Louis, what we did here this weekend is a huge success for the city, for our sport, for the fans. You look at the racing was good. It was good action all the way down to the end. The fans were on their feet coming for the Green White Checker. Every one of them were here. I think they're all still here down in 3 and 4 enjoying a concert with somebody. So I think the track did a tremendous job promoting the event. You see the billboards on the highways. They were ready, and they really promoted it. They did a fantastic job. And I think that's something that we shouldn't just look past, because they promoted it correctly. They had good racing. They cared about the racing as well. And then they had good entertainment when there wasn't racing. They got concerts. I think they had Nelly here last night. I mean, they got cool stuff. It makes it for a fun weekend for fans to be here. So, home run on every department, if you ask me.
Steve Conley, the podium finish. Joey, a lot of drivers yesterday called this track one-dimensional, but it seemed like it really kind of took rubber as the way the day was going on. You were able to move around. There was a lot of side-by-side racing deeper in the pack. How would you describe what you saw and kind of adjust throughout the race for this racetrack?
Yeah, the track definitely took a lot of rubber early in the race, where cars were kind of fighting for the bottom, and then it was, oh, you want the top, and then it rubbered up so much that, is pretty equal top to bottom. Early in the run, maybe you can run the bottom a little bit better, and before you know it, and 1 and 2 were a lane off the wall, and 3 and 4 were pretty close to that as well. So the track just took a lot of rubber. So that part was good. Not a whole bunch of tire fall off, but took a lot of rubber, and the track got wide. So that was a key thing for racing. If we didn't have fall off and the track wasn't wide, we'd be in trouble. But at least there's a wide track to where it promoted good racing. Not so much. I definitely expected it in 1 and 2. Maybe not that high, but I expected it to widen out. And then 3 and 4, I thought it was kind of 50-50 which way it would go. And it seems like with these next gen cars, the outside is more inviting because of the way the wake is. And what I was saying earlier, it kind of makes the tracks a little bit wider because the right side's better, moving to the right side. So that was good.
Are there any final questions for Joey?
Alrighty. Thank you, guys. Safe travels.